Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Astro Battles, the official Gears 5 2v2 league. I'm Frank. With me tonight is Blaze. Before we get into the action, we got to check in. Blaze, how you doing tonight, man?
Oh man, yo, I've been doing fantastic, yo. It's been another good week of casting Gears and just trying to live my best life. All right, hell. So I'm excited to see if we will get we will get a repeat champion, maybe. Okay, because in our top three, we got nothing but ballers. All right, and we'll be breaking down that bracket in a second. But outside of that, man, I'm doing good, chilling out. Got this tarantula on top of my head. You know, other than that, we okay.
All right. Well, hey, you can't beat that. And, you know, I like, starting the weekend off with a little bit of Astro Battles. Never a bad thing. Now, of course, last week we saw Handles and NSLs kind of stomp TJ and Demise. They ended the first perfect game we've ever seen on Astro Battles. Can they do it again tonight? We will have to see. But here is the roadmap for all of the upcoming events in the Astro Battles official 2v2 league. And again, $1,250 on the line each and every night until we get to that $10,000 2v2 major on August 14th. Now, taking a look at tonight's bracket, we've got another new face to Astro Battles, a team we have not seen before in the top side of the bracket alone. Of course, playing as a duo, so, a little bit of an oxymoron there, but Relics and Sloan is going to be that duo, and they are going up against your reigning champions, Handles and Acels. On to the bottom side, we've got Hive C plus T, a little bit of an equation, equals TJ and Demise on that squad, and then Vexum is a Vexies and Enzum there. So, I think all of the most winningest teams in Astro Battles history are in the bracket here tonight, and the map rotation is going to be mid, boxes, and then mid for both semifinals. I'm excited to see this one. I think we can't really talk too much about how Handles and Acels dominate on these maps. So really, for me, what I'm excited, looking forward to, and looking into is how this new face is going to stack up. And calling it an uphill battle, I think, would be an understatement. It's more of an up Everest battle for this team going up against Handles and Acels tonight.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right. And the reason why that is because Handles and Acels had our first perfect map that we saw in Astro Battles, and it wasn't against anybody. It wasn't during any series. It was during the finals against TJ and Demise on mid. So yeah, it is going to be like climbing Mount Everest. Now, Sloan and Relics are going to be two great players. I got a chance to cast Sloan during the Challenger Series in the beginning of the week. But when it comes down to Handles and Acels and just Astro Battles 2v2, it's a different flow than 4v4 and past 5v5 Gears. And you only become dominant at it, and you only become good by consistently playing Astro Battles in 2v2s. And I don't think they have as many reps as Handles and Acels. They can definitely make an upset. And if it's any night to make that upset, it's going to be tonight. Because like you said, with three of our duos in the top four that are our most winningest duos that we've ever seen, hey, you can upset anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And to touch on those duos, right, to kind of lay it out or set the stage for you guys tuned in right now. So it is the lower side of the bracket are the two most winningest teams, I believe, with 6 total wins each. We're kind of lumping events and majors in together just to keep it simple. And then Handles and Acels were at 4 prior to last week. Now they're at 5. So tonight is not only another opportunity for them to make their mark on Astro Battles, but to get into that 6-win category and potentially be our most winningest duo. So that's kind of some of that interplay.
So we'll have a 3-way tie with 6.
Yeah. So that'll be the thing to keep out or keep an eye on tonight is going to be that, and it's going to be up to one of the most winningest duos to keep them out, which is going to be exciting to see too. So either way, however this grand final shakes out, it's going to be an interesting one. There's a lot on the line for all of these squads, and then of course, $1,000 going to first place as well. So that can't, that on the line is going to make players turn up, show up, and run out. But I mean, you got some pride here too tonight. Now, I believe we're going to throw it to a quick little break. We're waiting on one player, but then when we return, we will have that first semifinal between Handles and Acels and Relics and Sloan. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. right, we are back in the action, coming hot off the commercial, and Sloan coming into this match hot, getting the downs on handles and Acels, cleaning up the kills, making me eat my words. Right before this match, they're off to a good start.
Man, Sloan, right out the gate. Him and Relics able to pick up 2 kills right there, so good job to them. So this is one of our newest duos coming out here into the scene. As I said before, I got a chance to cast these guys during the Challenger Series, and they really turned up this Monday. So they have been competing in all the tournaments in which they can get their hands on because, hey, Gears Esports, no matter what you're competing in, it's been a wave lately. So they're trying to get into the mix as well. And we talked earlier about their competition of handles and Acels, our last week winners. And I guess the storyline for this week is that if handles and Acels can win and tie Avexi's and Enzim and Demise and TJ with 6 wins apiece, or if one of those duos on the other end is going to shut them out and keep them at 5. But first, they got to get past Sloan and Relics.
Yeah, totally. And they came out pretty hot here, but it looks like handles and Acels kind of maybe that was a 1-round wake-up call for them because they have given them no room to breathe in the next 2 rounds. They take that 2-1 lead now.
Yeah, no room to breathe whatsoever. Now, as we come here towards 2v2 on mid, we got to start paying attention to who really is the player that's putting out all the damage, who's getting the first shot, because we know what handles and Acels, it could be either one of these guys. But if it's one thing I'm seeing with Sloan and Relics from the start, they're spending way too much time out of cover.
Yeah.
Like before Sloan came down to that mid box and he got into a fight with Acels, he took 2 free shots from handles to the right. And that was Sloan I'm talking about here. So we'll see how quickly they can get into position and get into the fight. Because if you're out of cover and you're taking shots, you better be committed to that fight.
Yeah, and these are some of the most unconventional starts, I think, from Sloan and Relic. So, like we mentioned, that experience in 2v2 can carry you very, very far. And I'm guessing, looking at how this has played out, that kind of threw handles and Acels for a loop on the first round. But now they're able to just punish it. They said, you're not going to pillars and the mid box right off spawn. Well, that's just a mistake, and you guys might not be able to recover from that. So, if you watch this breakout from Relics and Sloan, we'll see if they get wise to how they should be playing it. But even then, Sloan not immediately to that mid box. Relics is on the pillar, but Sloan going out ride Relics, gonna get punished for that. Sloan manages to take down Acels, but now handles kind of has free reign to get his teammate up, put shots in,
you
get
see,
the down
what a
Sloan.
play. So the reason why I say what a play is because he has to just make a decision. Do I shoot? Do I revive? We saw him go for the shot and a revive, but in his mind, he was like, he's about to kill somebody for free. It's either my teammate or possibly me. So he charged that on the force of that to make a difficult decision so Acels can get a clean 1v1. It was just nice to see that thought process. He was put a lot of faith in his teammate there. Now, when we come towards this side, what they've both been doing that's really great is, one more shot. Sloan, can you finish him off? Yes, he can. He gets the round. Now, on this one right here, Acels has just been backing up because he's been getting pressed a lot on his right hand. And so he just let handles get put out a lot of that damage, and he takes some long range Acels, takes some long range L triggers from afar up the ramp. But even if you hit your opponent with just a pellet, it stops that health regen from coming through. So it keeps the damage on him. So it doesn't matter how far he is with that shotgun as long as he's connecting with those pellets, and these players are weak.
There they managed to get a nice little advantage, kind of doing a double commit to that mid box, able to take down handles early, and now it's all on Acels to make something happen here. Does manage to get the down. Can he clutch up Sloan?
Wow, what a play, what a try.
Yeah, right idea, but I think these, they have a 2-round lead now. They went on a 5 streak, which is pretty good, but Relics and Sloan, I mean, definitely starts to mid we have not seen. I will give them that. The creativity is out in full force at the very least.
And you know what, and it's there a little bit, but that's just because they're adapting to the champs, so they're trying to figure out something that Acels and handles figured out maybe 1,000 rounds ago at this point. Okay,
right.
Think about all the rounds they possibly played on this map. They got we can almost assume would it be in first to best of 19 that they've played over 1,000 rounds when it comes down to mid. So what does that do to them? What type of muscle memory does that create when it comes down to this duo? And a lot, because Gears of War a lot of this game is muscle memory at the top level on how to move and do some of these combos and shots, and just something that makes you unique as a player. And what's making these guys unique as a duo, we just see the quick shots, the dominance coming out of them. They know exactly who they want to focus, which fights they're getting into, and that they have to commit once the battle starts. There's no backing down. And at this point, it's in their DNA when it comes down to 2v2.
Yeah, and even when things kind of go sideways for them, you know, they're kind of skipping the initial step. Slow and Relics, they're, you know, typically we see initial push of that mid box, that pillar, the damage comes out, and then you see these little breakaways, and they're just like, well, we'll just do the breakaway part at the start. Now, I got to admit that it's working out sometimes for them. They're able to turn these around into round wins, but it comes down to you're going up against the previous week's champions and an experienced roster in handles in a cell. So they're going to be able to answer just based off of teamwork and knowing what to do in those situations alone.
And Sloan is getting scrappy with these fights. You know, he's like, all right, you know, to get the respect, you know, forget letting you make the first move. He's trying to get into this fight with Excel and hoping his teammate finishes his battle. Oh, long range downs from handles, but you see him and Excel, they waste no time moving in on their prey. It looked good for a second. Sloan had some free shots on handles back there, but it wasn't enough to put him down. And in the end, him and Relics will lose this round. Down by 4 currently. Definitely still in this game. We've seen some crazy comebacks in Astro battles, and we also seen some teams not win around at all.
Yeah, for the first time last week, we had handles and Cells pitch the perfect game in the grand finals against TJ and Demise. There's Relics getting the down on a Cells. Sloan gonna come through, clean up. Handles goes down as well. So I feel like that 8-round mark is the make or break for a lot of squads. That's when, you know, the iPhone alarm goes off, they get splashed with the cold water, and they say, we got to make something happen now. So a lot of teams turn up at that 8-round mark.
Oh, 100%, because you want that 1-round cushion just in case your opponent gets a series point. And then, you know, it's like going from Rose to Ultra Instinct in that moment, if you can do it. But that wrap shot from Excels missed the first one. The second one will connect. And they're going to end up locking in round number 9. So we're talking about, you know, Rose to Ultra Instinct. We'll see if the boys here of Sloan and Relics can really turn up their game with their backs against the wall and win 5 rounds in a row against an opponent that is just historically better.
Yeah, and that's what it really comes down to, right? They're going up against the champs. They've got to make something happen. Sloan taking matters into his own hands on this one.
Sloan may be in it, though. He may be ready for it. He may be wasting too much time. Oh, no, that's a good shot. He's playing a lot off his left.
Yeah.
I think Excels read that, though. Excels says, no, I'm changing the direction of the fight. And Sloan, oh, what a back A. He got it back. I didn't think he was going to get it back. But he really wanted to play all. He was playing off of Excels' confidence and him trying to chase him there with those left-hand shots that he had. And the thing is that's a Excels play style as well. So they were kind of fighting opposite of each other. But Excels played into his right and gave Sloan the fight that he wanted.
Yep. Sloan able to make that one, keeping it close. Again, handles and Excels on match point here, but Relic's going to get the down. Excels has to change targets. Sloan going to finish that one up. And Sloan putting in the work there. Now, okay, so before this round potentially ends or map ends, we're going back to mid. So if Sloan and Relics are able to take boxes, then they might have, you know, gathered enough information and kind of gotten enough of a read on their opponent to really make this one competitive, going up against the prior champs in handles and Excels. We'll have to see how this one shakes out. Final round potentially. Handles going to go outright. Excels getting focused down. Handles does get one down. Nice headshot, but Relics coming around to take down Handles. Blaze, they might have turned up. They might have hit that Ultra Instinct flow. That 8th round means a lot to a lot of these squads.
We were talking about it, man. When that 9th round comes, these squads, their backs against the wall, and they're like, all right, we have to play perfect. Let's see if we can do it. So far, Sloan and Relics, they are at the cusp of winning map number 1, but they need 2 more rounds to go. I think the hard part's over. They're competing, but Relics can't get his fight there. You even see Excels gets the double down, so Relics had the damage out there. But in the end, he couldn't get it. Oh, I love how he's counting them down. Like, 1, 2. Oh, he's out. He's out. Kill him. He's not coming back in this one, folks.
Yeah, he kicks it up. But Handles and Excels managed to take the first map. Gonna be going to boxes for map number 2, but I gotta like the signs of life we saw out of Sloan and Relics. If they can manage to take boxes, then we might have a bit of an interesting game 3 on our hands.
Yeah, we might have one indeed. Now, one thing is that I love about this semifinals format and our classic format that we're using for this weekend, when you play mid boxes in mid, and you got 2 of the same map there, what happens is that the squad that's dominant on map number 1, if they take that one, for you to win a series, you have to go back there and beat them on that map. So you will have to win on both boxes in mid if you do want to take the series. Now, we're going to also have that flipped around for the finals. I do believe it's going to be boxes, mid, boxes. So that's going to be great to see as well. And we just get to see some great 2v2 gameplay. And so far, as you said before, Frank, if the boys of Relics and Sloan want to come back in this one, they'll get another crack at mid for sure.
Yeah, I like that. They kind of built in redemption arc into the way this map rotation works out. I think it gives some really exciting moments, a really great storyline to all these, little semifinal matches leading up to that grand final. One thing though, before we load into boxes here for game number 2 is, we mentioned how with handles and accels, that gets them into the 6-win club. But the other thing is because TJ and Demise and Avexis and Enzym are already in that club, there's an opportunity for them to set one map ahead, one tournament win ahead. So it's either going to be we're all in the same boat, or somebody's going to come out a little bit more dominant. So that's going to lead to an exciting grand finals here tonight too. And then of course, our first place winner is going to be walking away with $1,000. You just love to see it.
Yeah, it's either going to be 6-6-6 across the board, or it's going to be 7-6-5 when it comes down towards our top 3. Now, there is one more storyline that they stay the same. In Sloan and Relics, they add their first win to the column.
Right.
And now they're trying to build up, and they're going to catch up to them. So we still have that storyline to work with as well. But Sloan and Relics on a Gears of War Classic mid-box from War Machine, revamped up. If they can take this map, then we can start building that storyline up a little bit more as we go into map number 3.
Yeah, now I'm going to be interested to see what Relics and Sloan do off the breaks here, because we saw them on mid, definitely unconventional. We saw Sloan going wide rather than that mid box a few times, so we'll see how this one plays out. Accels getting aggressive off the start here. Relics and Sloan stacked, which is kind of going to let Accels spreads hit both targets. And when damage is currency, if you can double down, you're going to take that every day of the week. Now we have the 2v1 versus Sloan. He falls as well, so first round going to go to handles and Accels.
I love this duel because Accels knows that at some point Handles is going to cause chaos. As he was playing the mid box, Handles guy wasn't there, and Accels just had to really hold his positioning, and Handles put himself at an angle to force his opponents out of cover into Accels shot. But the play happened so fast as they were both thinking about it, and they reacted perfectly, and that just comes from the synergy of this duel and all the games and rounds that they've played together. Alone, they got Handles left alone on this pillar, and they are taking their time to get to him.
Yeah, I like that though. Just play it safe. You've got the 2v1. He's clearly in a disadvantaged state, so I see an elbow poking out there. I'm just going to chip away at that elbow until my teammate can clean it up. So Sloan and Relic's going to tie it up. Shouts out to them.
Hey, you got to respect your opponents at this level. It's the semifinals, and we've seen him come out with double kills time and time again. This time around, you're going to have both players from Handles and Accels winning their 1v1s, locking in round number 3, and that was simple. You saw Accels work his right hand on the mid boxes, hit the first shot, and just kept creeping on out, knowing that he was going to hit that second shot and definitely at least come away with a kill or a trade. So we head here into round number 4. Handles got his 1v1 against Relics off the corner. Oh, Relics tried to go for Accels, but Handles caught him, backed him up. Accels win his 1v1, and Relics just nothing he can do from that point.
Winding it up, counting down to 1. I only need one map left in the series for Handles and Accels. So if they're able to take this one, they'll be on to the grand finals. But I think, I'm seeing a little bit of what makes Handles and Accels so dominant, and they have early reads on their opponents. It only took them 1 or 2 rounds before Accels realized, well, Sloan is just going to sit on this mid box and go for back A's. I'm just going to play around it, and they've been able to dismantle them 3 rounds in a row now. You see it, he's playing for it. Accels takes a little bit of damage, going to be forced off to this pillar now. So we've got the 1Vs, wraps around, takes down Sloan. He's on to Relics here, who is going to just charge out of cells. Tries to switch targets. Not going to be enough. And Handles in the cells feeling it tonight.
They're giving him an initiation into the semis. All right. It says, yo, he made it to the semis. Congratulations. Let's give you a warm welcome.
Yeah. It's
now,
like...
when it comes down to the strategy of both these squads, it's a lot of mid-box action. Now, usually when I see Handles in the Cells play either TJ or Enzum or Vexes or Demise, any of the combination of that group, their duos, they kind of play the 1v1s on the pillar a little bit wide because they know how dangerous that mid-box is. And you could be fighting your fight, respectively, have an eye on your opponent, but just quickly he makes a wrap shot on the mid-box, gets the kill, and you're in a 1v2. So we've started to see these players kind of spread the 1v1 fights out just a bit more, and not put too much action on that mid-box because of plays like that. You see, Relic says, all right, I'm about to go in for that back A, but Handles, he read him like a book, got the free kill, and it was nothing he could do there.
Yeah. This is a little bit of, like you said, the initiation, right? It's like you made it here, but here's how the big dogs play, right? So they're kind of getting a taste of what they need to aspire to be if they want to consistently see themselves in the grand finals, in the semifinals. So, but you know what? That's great practice for Relics and Sloan. Just kind of, you don't get better by playing people worse than you. So, Handles in the cells, teaching some valuable lessons. We'll call it that here tonight.
The way he worked that cover, he played him. He had him read like a book throughout the entirety of it. The back A to the cancel to another back A to those two shots he hit as he was approaching him to the wrap shot on the right. Just Handles controlled that whole fight right there. That was beautiful work from him in that 1v1.
Ooh, so here we see Relic's gonna walk up melee, take a cells down, force Handles into a 2v1. We'll see what Handles can do here. We saw him work that cover to perfection in the previous round. Now, can he do it against two opponents?
Yeah, they don't know how they want to take the fight.
He gets one down, and the teammates are split.
Stop.
He's gonna come back, gets the one down. He's gonna have an opportunity to get his health back here. The 2v1, and
almost, but they're respecting him because of plays like that. You know, they know that he's gonna try to isolate that 1v1 at some point. That's why you always have to be on the same page. But also, like, so slowly Relics will learn that over time it just needs to be instinctive. Okay, that as soon as they win their fight, they just need to get on top of that last guy right away and get those shots. Start hitting those shots. Don't give them time to think.
Okay, quick round, 7-second round out of Handles in the cells, and yeah, it kind of feels like they are just dominating this map. Not sure what Relics and Sloan can do at this point, but I think you kind of touched on it. They're just learning, right? What it takes to compete at this level of Astro battles in that 2v2. You can't always just rely on yourself. You need to play as a team, work in a cooperative manner. As Cells cleaning up that mid box. Now we can provide some support to Handles, but Handles says he doesn't need it.
He says, I got this over here. He says, just let me fight my 1v1s. I'll be okay. Whew, 9-2 dominating start. About to be a dominating finish here for Handles in the Cells. We saw the start on map number 1, but for map number 2, they ran away with this one.
Cells gonna force the 2v1. That's gonna be all she wrote for Relics and Sloan. A good showing in map number 1, but Handles in the Cells said, you know what? Let's stop playing with our food. Let's head on to the grand finals and show everyone else we came here to play. I gotta say, though, Relics and Sloan on that first map, strong showing. We're able to battle back in there, so certainly a lot of talent in the Gears scene, but, talent only gets you so far. At a certain point, you gotta have that experience, that know-how, and that instinct, and that's what Handles and Cells have.
Yeah, most definitely did. Sloan and Relics, they put up a fantastic fight in map number 1. And Sloan, towards the back end of that map, was fighting like he was fighting for his life, challenging 1v1s. I even think he clutched up a 1v2 here and there, but he was setting the pace and putting out damage. They did well. They competed. Map number 2, not so much. I just think that when it comes down to Handles in the Cells and some of our other duos who've been playing since season 1 of Astro Battles, they have so many reps on that map where it's just second nature to them. And like you said, those good reads, they see a guy coming towards that mid box and they see that second either towards the left or the right. They know how they want to play it. They know how to play off that right hand and harass those players. So also they play so much 2v2, they make certain moves instinctively. Okay, certain combinations, rather if they're going to, when it comes down to 2v1ing players and which player that's going to be, it's down to a science for them. And Sloan and Relics just needs a few more reps. And I'm pretty sure they're going to get a lot of those in the future. And I'm excited to see if we see them back in the semifinals.
Yeah, and I think kind of to draw maybe like a basketball analogy, right? Handles and Nacelles have so many reps. They know, like, if you see a guy like dribbling up the court and he's got that like right shoulder a little bit higher, you know he's going to go for like the fake cross or something. They can see that as their opponents are coming towards them. So they can just get those reads on their opponents better from that experience. But I think Sloan and Relics have that raw skill, right? And you put it in the incubator, you develop it a little, and they'll be contenders in no time. But it is going to be Handles and Nacelles yet again moving on to the grand finals, which means, I mean, to me, this feels like the feature match. This is like who's going to contest last week's champions, TJ and Demise, and Avexis and Enzim in semifinal number 2. I'm excited to get into that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw it to a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back with that second semifinal. Stay tuned.
Nice play. Woo!
All right, we are back and right into it. It is TJ and Demise going up against Avexys and Inzum. And Avexys and Inzum gonna strike first here in this second semifinal on mid. They go up 1-0.
Wow. Got Avexys and Inzum back here in the semifinals, folks. It's been a while since we've seen them. We didn't get a chance to see them last week. I don't know if they competed at all or not, but they are back in full force, and we got a group of teammates playing against each other because Inzum is currently teammates with Demise and TJ. So it's nice. It's nice to see these guys play against each other. You know, the only one that's missing here will be Solars, and we'll have the entire Hive roster in the building. But Inzum and Avexys, they've been a duo for a very long time. The chemistry is there. And this is going to be a fun one to watch, folks.
Yeah, this one's going to be exciting. Going into this one, who gets the shot at handles and cells? As Inzum takes down TJ first. They're going to back up into spawn here, try to draw him out, but Inzum going to run in, strike on Demise, so they're going to go up 2-1.
Yeah, I love Inzum's back row right there. Understanding that friendly fire is on, and he didn't want to be in a position to give Demise and TJ, whoever that was at the end, just line up and give him easy shots on him and Avexys. So backs up, communicates to his teammate. They angle out the last guy. Now we head here into the next round. The focus was Avexys to start. Inzum knew that, so he made a quick move that baited out TJ, and ultimately Avexys and Inzum is going to take round 4.
Yeah, building up a little momentum there. I like the initial play we saw, kind of checking that peripheral vision. A good initial off of TJ to try to provide some support for Demise, but I mean, Inzum and Avexys recognize that, able to strike quickly on that mid box, get another round on the board. So here we'll start off with Inzum on that mid box. Good first shot onto TJ, takes him down. He's at a 30% health right now, so he's going to have to play this one extremely safe. Demise trying to relieve some of that pressure. They're going to switch targets. Avexys going to go in, double downs, double kills. 4 rounds to 1 now for Vexum.
Oh, that was nice how they switched targets right there. You know, just switched it up. They knew they had damage on each one of these players that wasn't their initial 1v1s, and they committed to it. So nice switch up there for them to lock in round number 5. But Demise, he was the focus point there in that mid box the previous round, and TJ's putting a lot of shots on the Avexys, a lot of focus on the Avexys. Nice shot on Inzum. Beautiful hold there on the last shot. He hit the spread, held the angle. He wanted to protect himself close, see what his opponent wanted to do as he was holding a shot in. He found an opportunity for those last pellets that he needed there. So good job to them. But Avexys, with him being aggressive here on these right pillars, it seems to have TJ a little bit uneasy here because he wants to put some focus on that guy rather than focusing on Inzum. And I think Inzum, he's recognizing that, so he's going to push these 1v1s a few rounds.
Yeah, and here comes Avexys, seeing that, going out wide, but Demise going to be able to take down Inzum in the process. That's going to open up the map for TJ and Demise, and I think you said it perfectly. We saw Avexys getting real aggressive towards Demise, and typically the play pattern for TJ and Demise is TJ creates that pressure, and Demise kind of is that relief, right? He's there for the support role, but when Demise is getting rushed by Avexys, it's like, we need to make something happen now because I don't have time. I'm going to get 1v1'd. Oh, and Inzum rotates off that mid box to clean up Demise. Now it's all on TJ. Can he make something happen here? Inzum going to hit a brick from a little bit of a distance there and take another round. So 2-round lead now.
So I feel like TJ and Demise are their scariest when TJ has a presence on that mid box, a presence so strong where his opponent is just focused on TJ. And when he is just focused on TJ, Demise finds opportunities to get damage on him, fight his 1v1, because their opponent just knows that TJ can wrap shot at any minute and take him out. Now, he hasn't earned that respect so far in this round, and Inzum and Avexys have been putting all their focus on Demise towards that back pillar more times than not. So as they're focusing Demise and they're setting a pace, Demise is TJ's focus of keeping him alive. And I think TJ, by him just playing aggressive on Inzum, that will relieve the pressure from Demise that he needs.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. So we'll have to see if TJ and Demise are able to pick up on that. Right now, Demise just getting super focused on this pillar. He has to play so safe. TJ gets a nice shot there to open that up. But, I mean, from the initial, that was essentially a Avexys and Inzum round to lose.
Oh, 100%. You know, like Enzum read it perfectly. He said, okay, you're not worried about me again. You want to shoot a Vex? He's on a pillar, timed his shots. He had his flow. And after the third shot, TJ, you know, blind fired over that cover. Enzum wrapped and he just missed. He hits that shot. You know, if Vexies and Enzum went around, but I don't think that's going to phase him much as we head here into the next. Demise, worried about a Vexies. Out here wide, he wins his battle this time. And TJ will be able to take out Enzum with ease on that mid box. 5-6. Vexies and Enzum in the lead.
Yeah, and I think Demise and TJ, Demise especially in this case, is just getting used to that pressure now. When you're used to not being pressured on that pillar, that's kind of the off roll on this map, you feel a little complacent. You can kind of sit back, read the room, read the situation, but having that pressure right in his face, he's had to adjust. And now that he's adjusted, TJ and Demise, they're competing now. This one's tied up at 6 rounds.
Yeah, they tried to rush him on that pillar, and they made TJ to focus this round, but he just backed up, hit his shots, and waited for help to come, and he timed it perfectly. So for him, he's just like, okay, I want to see you guys do that again. Focus me one more time. Send 2 my way. You know, he's happy to be the center of attention because when he is the center of attention, Demise makes the plays.
And here we see Avexies and Enzum respecting it. They recognize now that their initial strategy, that pressure, that kind of in-your-face gameplay, Demise and TJ have gotten wise to it, so now they're going to look for another opportunity. TJ going to feint off to that pillar, get back on that mid-box. We've got Demise and Avexies fighting again. Avexies comes out on top. TJ's going to have to return for the revive. Chain revives trying to come through. Not going to be able to happen as TJ going to fall in that 2v1, and Avexies and Enzum going to take the lead.
Yeah, folks, this is going to be a back and forth battle. Not even just on map number 1. I think we'll see the same thing in map number 2 as well. Neither one of these duos able to get a lead, able to get ahead. And I think most of these players, we got 3 players with single-digit pings in here, so this is really good and scrappy as well. But here on this pillar, Demise, he's looking for a Vex. So you see how he lined a shot up before Vexies even went out wide, just predicting him. And that's a great round there for TJ and Demise. They're keeping it close, and it's going to be close all the way to the wire. I don't know who's going to walk away with this one. I don't think anyone has been able to. I think both teams have been flip-flopping with momentum, and now it's just dead even.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is what it looks like when, you know, 6-win teams go up against each other. They've had enough experience. They know each other enough to know tendencies, what they should be looking for, what to expect out of their opponents. So you see this mental game unfolding here in this first map where it's some aggression, some backing off. Am I going to go for TJ? Are we going to focus Demise? And everyone's just kind of, you know, waiting patiently, waiting for the ball to drop, essentially, and the action to break out. There it is. Demise going to be taking us down to Vexies. The 1v1 Enzum going to wrap around that pillar to take the round.
Man, it was a stalemate, and once the action broke out, everybody just they had a play in their head and just executed. So that was a fun round. Enzum coming out with a double kill. That was huge. TJ missing a few shots there towards the end. Enzum going big. We'll see if he can do it again. 1 round lead for Vexum. And Enzum sees it. He knows he has the right hand. TJ's not focused on him enough. Oh, TJ. He got the shot on the Vexies. The revive can come through, and he knows he needs to get in there to clean up the kill. Oh, but he had to reload. No more bullets in his gun, but also a Vexy had no more as well.
Yeah, just a super smart play. And we kind of mentioned that last week, too, with how important positioning, even when you're down, is. You know, it's down but not out for a reason. You can move, create that distance. That distance then allowed the flank to occur with their opponent's back turn for an easy cleanup. So a great play there out of the Vexies and Enzum. We have TJ trying to make something happen again, but he's going to eat so much damage. Demise then has to clean him up, and at that point, Avexies and Enzum can just start to pick them apart.
He's trying to get this kill from afar. Oh, what a play there from Enzum to win the game. Goes out, knows he has to revive his teammate, but he doesn't really, folks. Okay, he just baits him out a little bit. Boogie's against the wall, gets the last chunk. That was a tough fight there for TJ, but in the end, it is a Vexies and Enzum who take map number 1.
Yeah, and something I didn't get to mention or kind of point out during the game, but now that we're in between maps, we can kind of touch on it here, is The thing that Avexys and Enzym did different against TJ and Demise is typically what we'll see teams do off of that initial is you have your man. You got your guy in your lane across from you, and you try to get your first shot on them. But Avexys and Enzym, more times than not, focus Demise off that initial spawn, and that allowed Avexys to then apply that pressure because he's got the life advantage. He can play that aggressively because he doesn't have to hit the perfect shot to take down Demise. You know, his buddy on the mid box has already done some of that work for them. And then they have the flank and they have the pinch onto that mid box. So by the time TJ and Demise were able to play around that, it was already too late, and they were just exploiting that kind of over and over again, which got them the lead there. So big ups to Avexys and Enzym just with, you know, kind of the cerebral play versus the mechanical play on how they wanted to attack that.
Yeah, and you know, they had to assess the mechanical play first before the cerebral play came in.
True.
And what I mean by that, they looked at both their targets and said, who do we want to focus? Do we want to focus TJ on the box, or do we want to focus Demise in the back? And like you said, a lot of those rounds, that pressure was on Demise. And you know, how he handled that, he just had to, with your back against the wall, literally, you just have to fight your way out. Hit the shots, push them back to relieve that pressure for your teammates so that he can make plays. Because if Demise starts hitting those shots there, it will naturally back up and TJ will smell that blood on the other end. And we saw the game slow down at 7-7. And it really at that point could have went either way. But Avexys and Enzym, man, they won out those last 3 rounds. They found a winning combination there. Now, as we head here to boxes, we'll see how this changes up a bit more. Because honestly, I think the best team that we have here on boxes between these duos is going to be Avexys and Enzym.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, and I think this map might favor that aggression a little bit more. You can kind of get a little bit more creative with it. You have a little bit more cover off of that initial to make an aggressive play and then create that space again. And what I want to touch on too with Demise, and what I love about Astro battles, Nashers only 2v2, is when you're Demise, there's no one to fall back on. In 2v2, it's you either step up or you're losing the map. So, you know, you can say, like, you know, in
you're either hitting your shots or you're not.
Right. Oh, maybe we can time weapons better. Maybe I can back up, pull out the Lancer. No. You're either contesting Avexys on that push or you're losing the map. So you just have to step up in that scenario. So we're going to be looking for TJ and Demise to do that here in map 2.
And after more reps, you find a way how to take the fight better. Even if you lose it 100 times, I guarantee you on 1-on-1, you might be moving just like these boys in the lobby. But you just got to commit to the fight. Win or lose, make the commitment first, and then handle everything else later, rather if it's celebration or critique. And you just got to keep that mentality no matter what games you guys are playing out there, chat. How else you're going to get better? Going to hire somebody for lessons for an hour? Or are you going to get better yourself?
Right? Yeah,
I'll charge you lessons if you want to pay the money. Like, don't get it twisted. I'll take
we
your
got
money.
some slots open if you're looking. Yeah,
Yeah, right. I can make room for you in a week. Okay, I'm gonna charge you $50 an hour, but if you think it's worth it, I'll give you the lessons. If not, you just gotta commit to the fight and critique yourself and get better here and there, little by little.
Yeah. It's how do you want to learn the lesson, right? You want to learn by doing, or do you want to have somebody kind of walk you through it? And learning by doing will get you there faster, right? That I think at the end of the day, learning by doing, and that's what we saw kind of in the first semifinal, right? Relics and Sloan. Learn by doing. I'm expecting to see more out of them because they got a little spark in there. But right now, Demise got the spark on. Enzym going to be taking him down. Now Avexys tries to fight through. TJ going to get that down and that kill in the end. So here we see a 2-round lead. They're coming back into it. They're battling back into it, and I expected nothing less from the 6th round. What is that? The back-to-back champions here.
Yeah. You know what? We have to, you know, after round 10, we'll really know who has the upper hand in this series because I think it's going to go back and forth till the end. But after 10 rounds, we'll see who's the best here. Now, TJ and Demise, so far, so good. Throughout this map, 3 in a row, I did make a comment saying that I felt like Avexys and Enzym was the better duo on boxes, and we'll see if that holds true or not. So far, TJ and Demise, from what I'm seeing, it's just really just winning 1v1s. TJ putting out some big shots here on these big boxes, but I think Demise has really stepped it up here towards this map throughout these 4 rounds we've seen so far.
Ooh, Avexys applying that pressure, but Demise going to rotate through. 2v1, though, comes out in favor of Enzym. TJ and Demise had a little bit of an opportunity there, but Vexies and Enzym just able to capitalize on those little gaps in the gameplay to get a round back on the board.
Yeah, and with those bodies being down so close to each other, I know he wanted to like not execute and find his teammate, so he had to really navigate that notification and fight his battle as well. Probably could have stayed in his 1v1, and that's probably what he's thinking about right now. In the end, TJ trying to recover from that round. Enzym, he has no play this time, so he's going to be out of there. Now we head here into round number 7. So far throughout 6, it's TJ and Demise.
And what I'm kind of noticing here is the difference is in the timing to that mid box. So compared to mid to boxes, if you're going to go for that shot on your opponent, like Vexies and Enzym were looking on Demise on mid, you're then giving up your position on the mid box there. So we saw it perfectly. That round, Vexies was looking to apply that pressure on Demise, but that gives your opponent, the guy in your lane across from you, an opportunity to make the first move. Whereas you don't really have that on mid. You can kind of still hit that diagonal shot in that 2v1 and still get to the box at the same time in a safe way. But that's not allowed on this map.
And so you called it out right, but by him not going there, that allowed Enzym to take free shots from a Vexies guy.
Yep.
So this is why I talked about the map can evolve and you don't see too much action towards that mid box. And you got like the separate 1v1s being spread out. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, if you do play the back sandbag and your teammate is pressed up on one of these pillars, he has an opportunity of taking free shots from your guy. Yeah. So even if it's just one shot, at this level, that one shot can be about 50% on a player, and in a 1v1 that he's already in, that's the assist your teammate needs.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. At this level, taking one shot means you're one shot away from death. So you know, it's like one shot is everything here. But here's a Vexies working their way back into it. Still a decent lead for TJ and Demise at 3 rounds, but Vexies and Enzym getting a couple of looks in here, and I think they can start working their way back into this one.
Yeah, so we're 1 round away from that 10-round mark, and it's official that TJ and Demise, they do have momentum in this map currently. Now TJ, as he's working his mid box, you see the quick 2v1 on his teammate, but they both back up, and TJ gets some free back A's. Even though the down came through on his squad, TJ got the fights that he wanted in the end, and 7-3 lead here for them. And so far, they're looking good, and we may be going back to foundation mid, barring that they just crumble right here before our eyes.
Right. It's going to go either way. We're going to have to see. I'm hoping for that map number 3 between these two, because I know TJ and Demise definitely want revenge for that map, but Vexies and Enzym working their way back into this one. 7 rounds to 4. Typically, you know, 8 rounds is where the anime arc kind of gets to that power up stage.
That's the climax, right?
Yep. That's when we know our hero is rising to the challenge. So that 8 round mark might be that turning point. We'll have to see if Vexies and Enzym even let them get there, though. They're looking to collapse on Demise yet again. Demise and TJ said, okay, we'll back up. We'll back up and just clean you up that way. So 2 rounds away now from being that map number 3.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we've seen two 2v1s taken immediately there in that round, right off the start from the gate. You know, they choose a target and they try to jump them, and that hasn't worked out, because the guy who doesn't have anyone to fight, he knows right away that, oh, okay, I got some free shots coming in somewhere. Tells his teammate, just back up, stay alive. And so far, TJ and Demise, they are upset after that map number 1. They says, no, we did not just lose that. They're firing off here currently on boxes.
Yeah, I think they took that one a little bit personally. They took that personally. They came out here on boxes and turned up. So see if Vexies and Enzym can work something out here, because they are on borrowed time at this point. TJ and Demise looking for revenge. TJ going to hit a brick, but we've got...
Ooh.
Well,
that's
TJ.
It.
TJ putting in the work. 10 rounds to 4. Feels like a bit of a statement. So that means we get to go back to mid for map number 3 to see who will move on to the grand finals tonight.
Hey, I'm excited for it, all right? You know what? Especially with these 2 duos they were watching, I'm just happy that TJ and Demise did not fold, okay? Because if Vexies and Enzym didn't play last week, and TJ and Demise, we know that they can compete with them toe-to-toe. And anytime they go against each other, I want to see a map number 3. So I'm happy they were competitive on boxes, but as we said before, you know, you're gonna have to win both these layouts, okay, if you lose map number 1. Now, on the flip end, can they go back? Can they take them down? Because Inzum and Avexis, they had a nice little flow there on boxes, and kind of going back to recap that map number 1, all of their focus was on Demise in that back pillar. And so we're gonna have to see as we head into map number 3 how he's gonna be able to survive that aggression from Avexis, because if he can do that, just keep Avexis at bay and try to make them focus on TJ, and I think that'd be the winning formula here for TJ and Demise.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's perfectly right. Demise, and now TJ and Demise, right? They know the game plan that Avexis and Enzim are going to throw at them. So this is where, you know, that experience, that ability to adapt comes into play. And if I'm TJ, I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, if they're just going to focus Demise, then I might have an opportunity to open something up, to look for damage that I didn't see the first time we played him on mid. I know they're going to focus Demise. Maybe I can, you know, if Demise can then do the damage on Avexis, like we mentioned, damage is currency. So if Demise can just do enough damage, even if they're going to rush him, then TJ can always come in and try to clean something up. So I'm excited to get into this one. I don't know how it's going to shake out. Sometimes we don't even get map 3, so this feels like a little treat. You know, it's like oh, we didn't mention it was my birthday at dinner, but they brought me out the cake anyways. So I'm ready to get into this one. I think TJ and Demise are gonna have a couple of answers that Avexis and Enzim might not be expecting for them.
And you said it great, Frank. And it's as simple as how much damage can Demise do to Avexis? And really, Enzim is even a part of that equation, because if he's doing damage to Avexis and Enzim is constantly leaving that fight with TJ to flank Demise, then that's on TJ at that point, okay? Right. He has to worry about his guy. He has to slow him down. But as long as Demise is putting out as much damage on Avexis as he can, I think everything else will fall into place for this duo. Now, we are speaking on this on a high level, but, you know, me and Frank has probably, you know, watched as many rounds of 2v2 Astro battles that they didn't played. Yeah. You know, maybe at least a 1/10 of that. And from what we've seen here, it's simple. It's simple, folks. And it comes down to your 1v1s, hitting your shots, and just finding those gaps and when your opponent's going to rotate and being able to predict their movements. If you can do that, man, you can earn yourself a check here at 2v2 Astro battles.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to say it's easy from where we're sitting, right? To say, oh, all they have to do is X, Y, and Z. But when you're full red and Avexis is running at you, it is a different story. It is a different story, but we'll have to see. You know, the experience level out on the field right now is probably some of the highest in Astro battles 2v2. So it all just comes down to, can you execute at that point, right? You can plan, you can have the best plan in the world, but if you can't execute on it, then it's kind of worthless. So we'll have to see if TJ and Demise can execute on Avexis and Enzim right now. So here we have Enzim going to that mid box. Demise knows to expect it, so TJ gonna play it a little safe, gonna go out, try to draw some of that pressure away. But Avexis and Enzim saying, you can do whatever you want. We're taking this map.
Yeah, we're gonna take this map right here. That time it was Enzim who was the focus there for Hive. Well, the other Hive guys. And so they were trying to jump their teammate there in the box. Just did not work out for him because Enzim hit a great shot there on TJ towards the mid round. So we head here into 2. Enzim on a box. Looked at Demise. Yeah, he sees Demise. Yep. The fact that he did that. The fact that he cruised up there for the back A and timed it perfectly is beyond me. But that's what makes him so scary, right? Like, he just made TJ a non-factor in that round. And I talked about it, how that's not even Demise's fault there, that he got back A from his left. He got a teammate there that's supposed to be watching that.
Right. That's on TJ to kind of deter Enzim from being able to make that play. You have to do enough damage that that's not an option. You have to start taking options away from Avexis and Enzim. And there's a good play out of TJ. And Demise answers in turn. So 2 rounds to 1 now. But yeah, that one's not on Demise. That's on, hey, the guy just ran in front of your face and you kind of sat there, right?
And it was as simple as that, Frank, okay? But you saw that round, it kind of isolated their 1v1s, and Demise is going wide a little bit. But I'm scared if he's the one that's initiating that wide fight, because if he is, Avexis is not going to take it one of those rounds. He's going to say, okay, you want to play wide? Let's jump TJ. And they tried to that round. The team kill came through. They were so on top of each other. And Avexis tried to make a quick shot, but Enzim got hit with a few of those bullets. But also TJ had a point blank over the cover and made that even more chaotic there for the Vexum duo here. I wanted to call them a Rise duo, but they're not anymore.
Right.
Old school squad. But so far, so good here for both these teams. We're tied up 2-2. It's map number 3, folks. And it is just best of 15 remaining. Still a lot of rounds here. Now, it's starting to slow down, Frank. Demise, he just edges away from his player in the Vexies. He actually turned his whole back to Vexies, and that's what lost him that round.
Yeah. Yeah, Avexi's tried to go out wide, kind of forced Demise. Demise said, okay, we'll try to make the play on Enzim then. But then you're turning your back to Avexi, so he was just able to clean up that kill quite easily. And on the mid-box, the dust settled where it did. So TJ and Demise doing a better job of finding some answers here and responding. Here we see Avexi's going to go out wide again, and there's what Demise needs to do. Just hit a couple of shots, and TJ able to get back up. The 2v1, TJ going to come around, wrap on Enzim, and we're tied up at 3 rounds.
Also, that was a winning side road there for TJ. And we talk about, you know, we said in the last match, you're down but not out. So where you go down is super crucial. So for him to side roll, get closer to his teammate and just confirm the 2v1 was just great. But even if he side rolled in a different direction, it just made it awkward for that 1v1 fight. It would have worked out for his teammate as well. Now here in the box, you see Enzim. He's flirting with TJ there towards the middle, but in the end, I think he was even peeking off the side of that cover, taking some L triggers at Demise a little bit, helping the Vexies in that fight. And that's just how fast Enzim plays there in these situations. But Demise got caught out in the open because he was worried about Enzim there in the middle. And like I said, man, the only way that TJ and Demise is gonna win this fight is if Demise keeps the Vexies in check every round. He should even worry about Enzim.
Right. Yeah. At that point, you're being too good of a teammate, right? Like just focus on the guy in front of you. And there they do it. TJ and Demise going to take them down here, keeping the rounds tied up at 4. If this went to a round 19, I honestly, I don't know what I would do. I think we might find out, because I think this one might be going to the round 19 the way these two squads are playing.
I would not be surprised whatsoever, and I will be really happy to see that, especially with us being here in map number 3. And I know Handles in the cells, they're waiting. They're like, all right, so let's see how these boys are playing tonight, how decisive they are, how quick they are off the rotation, if their shots are hitting. They're ready. So as many rounds as they get to study tonight, I'm pretty sure they'll be okay. But as we're studying this 1v1 of Vexies is gonna school TJ there right on the hedge and says, no, sir, if you're not gonna take the fight, if you're not gonna initiate it, I have no issues doing that.
Yeah, and that's one of those ones where the damage comes into play. TJ makes the right play there, but, you know, Avexi's has the damage lead on him. He has more health, so TJ has to play it safer, whereas if Demise had hit a couple of more shots, a couple of more pellets, that thing plays out completely differently. So that's how important that damage can be. There's Avexi's tries to make a play onto TJ, and TJ fending off 2 targets there, the flank and the mid-box, keeping it tied at 5s.
Yeah, Vexies took way too much damage before he realized it, because he tried to go in and make that move on TJ, which just put him out in the open a little bit more. And Demise hit his shot, so you could tell how comfortable that Vexies is feeling his back pillar, that he can kind of freely move around where he wants, and he's going to have to get checked here soon, or he's just going to be victorious as he's putting some shots in on TJ on the left. Every time TJ pops up out that cover, it's just well-timed shots between him and Enzim. They just get this game down to science, but look at our first 2 rounds. Okay, can we trade off the first 4?
Right.
It is back and forth, Frank.
Yeah, I will say I think the one thing Avexi's and Enzim are doing that might set them apart from TJ and Demise is recognizing damage. So doing damage is one thing, but recognizing who's weak and who you need to focus is, you know, on favor of Avexi's and Enzim right now. Now everyone's at 100, but that previous round they realized, okay, TJ, he's at 50% on that mid box. We can focus him, take him out, and then settle the score the rest of the round. And now this is where, you know, they start realizing the situation, where they're at. Avexi's, though, going to get aggressive, make the move. TJ.
You said, what you reaching for?
On that mid-box, yeah. Laid out full starfish on the mid-box, and it's going to be
that's the easiest kill you're ever going to get in Astro battles, folks, okay? Right there.
Especially
right, he just says,
Demise.
you know what, I'm just going to lay out here, sprawl out, and
get
just,
the tan on. Yeah.
Just
July's
get your kill.
Up.
Whatever you need. Now, We head here in round number 14, I believe we're in. Avexis, yeah, the focus is on TJ's foot. Oh, I saw the back A play he went for. TJ's still weak also, but in the end, it will be him and Demise to get another round on the board. Let's see if they can make it 2 in a row and get us all tied up again as we head into the actual round number 14.
All right, so TJ and Demise, I just feel, and I can't quite put my finger on it. It just feels like at this point, Avexis and Enzym are still in control. TJ and Demise are still looking for answers, even though the rounds are close. It just feels like Avexis and Enzym are playing, you know.
And they didn't run away with it until we were tied 7-7 on the last series. They won the last 3 rounds in a row, so it looked just like this. But both players, oh, what a great read from both.
Yeah.
Enzym challenged up in his fight a little bit. Then he went for the revive, but then TJ goes in for the chunk first because he saw the revive. If he revives his teammate, they lose, but he knew he had to get a kill and leave it all up to Demise. So 2 perfectly read plays to come down to the 1v1. Just that in the end, it's Vexum who comes out victorious.
You see them trying to
Whenever
focus
Vexy
TJ.
sees Demise holding that left hand, he takes free shots on TJ. Because he can see the gun poking out. He's like, okay, cool, you got a left hand? Well, let me move up here and get some free shots on TJ's leg. And then at that point, Enzym, he's just quick with it. He probably already has some damage on TJ from the start. So it's just a matter of time. And Avexis, as soon as he came down that ramp, he hit Demise with a solid L trigger. Probably hit him for about 60% there with that L trigger coming down the ramp.
Yeah, so Avexis and Enzym just need this round, and Enzym, that's going to be all she wrote. I was just about to set the stage. Enzym said, it's grand finals time for us as they move on, taking 3 rounds in a row against TJ and Demise. And if I'm TJ and Demise, I'm a little bit heartbroken. That's a tough loss, not only because you've gone down to Avexis and Enzym, a hard-fought battle, back and forth the entire way. The map 3, you worked your way to get back to it, but now you don't get to reclaim, you know, or the grudge match in grand finals against Handles and Nacelles. Like, you missed that opportunity to say, oh, last week, you know, that was a fluke. You guys don't deserve that spot. Now it's kind of uncontested. It's Handles and Nacelles' turn to now prove themselves that they're in that 6-win club.
And you know what? I think it is going to be fitting too as well. I will say I don't think I've seen TJ and Demise lose mid 3 times in a row on stream. Okay, because we only see them on stream. But as far as that map goes, they're super talented there. So having some struggles on it, they'll bounce back next week. But our grand finals is about to come up. It's just fitting. All right, Handles and Nacelles, they went into last week with 4 wins. They got a victory against TJ and Demise to go to 5. And now they get to play Enzym and Avexis to win, to possibly win and get into that 6-win club. And then we'll have all 3 of those duels tied up. And then, you know, we'll have our contender every week in the semifinals to really compete against them. And it's a reason why those 3 duels are as consistent as they have been. So you don't want to miss this grand finals about to come up. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, this is going to be a great grand finals. And if I'm Handles and Nacelles, after watching what Avexis and Enzym did to TJ and Demise on mid, I'm very thankful that grand finals rotation only has mid once. We're going boxes, mid, boxes. So that, I mean, that just means to me it's gonna be a coin flip. It's who's the best on the day, right? Is Handles and Nacelles gonna join that club, 6 wins apiece, or will Avexis and Enzym rise above the ranks? They were our dominant season 1 duo. If you remember all the way back then. I think that was before I was even 30 years old. So, man, that's back in the day for me. But Avexis and Enzym were the undisputed duo, and now they have an opportunity to reclaim that throne at 7 wins. We're about to find out next. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back with this grand finals. Stay tuned.
Nice play. Woo!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Astro Battles, the official Gears 5 2v2 league. It is grand finals time, and of course, got that nice little prize pool on the line, $1,000 going to first place, but there's also a whole lot of pride on the line now between these two teams. To give you the little breakdown, essentially, Handles and Acels, last week, they took down TJ and Demise with the perfect game, a 10-0 sweep in rounds to claim themselves a championship, and that puts them 1 round away from 6 total tournament wins. Meanwhile, Avexis and Enzum have those 6 wins, and they're either looking to keep Handles and Acels out or welcome them in, depending on how they play in this grand finals. Blaze, I'm excited for this one. What about you?
Oh, I really am as well. Like you said, are they gonna welcome them in the 6-win club? Or are they gonna keep them out and say, hey, you guys aren't about this life. You're gonna have to get to that 7 club if you want to be here with us. And it's only fitting because when it comes down to Astro battles, I feel like we've seen TJ and Demise and Handles and Acels win more of our latest Astro battles tournaments, especially over the last 10. I feel like they've gotten more of them wins, where Vexies and Enzum, towards the beginning of Astro battles, they were very dominant. So it'll be nice to see them here come out on top, with this one to take the lead. But I also will say they haven't won a major. Only Handles and Acels, TJ and Demise have won the majors when it comes to Astro battles. Right. The Vexies and Enzum, they swept the season, and they got a lot of those regular season wins.
Yeah. Vexies and Enzum kind of have a season 1 cushion, right? When they kind of entered in, they were 2 of the biggest names who were competing before a lot of the other kind of pro scene either got wind or kind of made time to compete. And they've had that. They're kind of, sitting back on some season 1, back in my day type beat. But it was definitely, season 2 and then on has been a lot about Handles and Acels and TJ and Demise. But here we're about to, see if the old men can still play, in season 2 and 3 and so on going forward.
Oh, man, he says.
Some of that new school crowd. Granted, they're all, way younger than me and way better than me at Gears. A lot of things better than me, but I'm in the booth. We'll call the action. We'll call it like I see it here. So, Handles and Acels going up against the Vexies and Enzum. We're starting out on boxes. Then we're going to go to mid. Then we're going to go to boxes. We kind of talked about that before the break. If I'm Handles and Acels, I'm kind of thanking my lucky stars for that rotation because we saw a Vexies and Enzum kind of dismantle TJ and Demise on mid. And we're getting into this one. We're loading into boxes. I see on my screen some jumping jacks being done. The players warming up to battle it out for $1,000 and a whole lot of bragging rights. Starting off with the Acels, getting aggressive on that box, hits a brick in the background. Enzum did manage to take down Handles. The Vexies gonna secure another kill there for that first round.
Well, yes, you did. Yes, indeed, they will. So coming out on top, striking first here of Vexies and Enzum. So we did just watch them lose boxes 10-4 from Demise and TJ, and I feel like when it came down to it, if I'm recalling it correctly, Demise had such a presence here on his pillar, and TJ was winning a lot of his fights there towards the mid box. It wasn't spread out too much, but it was more so of that pillar fight and how successful that player was, just kind of defending himself rather they were jumping him or winning that 1v1, and that allowed TJ to make some plays there towards the mid map. Now, as far as this duel goes, Handles and Acels, Handles is going to be getting jiggy with it on each one of these pillars every single round. So you're going to have that aggression here, and Acels is going to have to fill in this gap here towards the inside. So Enzum and Handles is your matchup versus Acels and a Vexies. And so far, Handles and Acels, they got a winning combination over these last 2 rounds.
Yeah, I like what Handles and Acels have been doing these last 2 rounds, and I think that might be, a little bit of the difference here. TJ and Demise kind of play a little bit more of that Slayer and support role in their dynamics, whereas Handles and Acels maybe a little bit more even in terms of where that matchup lies. So that might be a little bit different for Vexies and Enzum coming off, a matchup where they could kind of focus in Demise and really open up the rounds for them. But they're going to be taking down Handles and Enzum. Vexies, it's a long-range shot to take down Acels, and tied right back up at 2s.
Right back up at the 2s, 4 rounds in, map number 1. And like we said the last time, man, about 10 rounds in, we'll know who's got momentum so far in this series. Now, as we head here into round number 5, Enzum, how do you want to play Handles this round? He goes towards the inside, has Handles to the right. 2 players technically to his right. Acels is backing up because he knows his teammates can get some free shots in. They're trying to focus a little bit on the Vexies, but now Enzum has became their focus. The Vexies, he went down there towards the back, so it proved to be a winning strategy, focusing on the Vexies there. Acels must hit some great shots, and we saw Handles try to get some shots in from the side of that box as well. So they did good there in round number 5.
Yeah, just a nice round. And at this level, at this caliber, that is just the back and forth. It comes down to those little things. Did you hit your shots in that round? How'd you position yourself? As Enzim and Avexis going to strike first in this round, and it's all on Handles now to make something happen, but facing down 2 barrels in the hands of Enzim and Avexis is going to be a tough one to pull out here.
Yeah, Handles, you know, he had the down, but that's gonna be hard picking up both those kills. Only a matter of time before he goes down there. So all tied up, 3-2-3 now. You know, one thing that I have been noticing is that, you know, both these squads been switching up the strategy, been switching up their focus points. But we'll see if they stack up again, because I feel like these last rounds we've seen kind of the 2v2 stack up and play each side together, but as far as the initials breaking out, they've kind of played away from each other, right? So Handles too far away from that fight, and Avexis found the opportunity to get that free shot in on a cell. So far, Enzim and Avexis, they're going to take these next 2 rounds, and they have found their rebuttal.
Yeah, like what they're throwing, and it is just, you know, those little things, the little adjustments that are swinging these rounds. You know, did you rotate half a second too late? Or, you know, did you miss a shot or a few pellets even? And that's what's really causing the difference right now. No breakaway squads just yet. Here's Enzim spotting a couple shots on the cells. Going to do a nice job into Handles here. Cells, though, takes down Avexis in that background. And Enzim going to be taken down as well. So it is now tit for tat. 4 rounds to 4. Just, yeah, I mean, at this caliber, that's kind of what you expect is no one's going to have a great handle on the other team or enough momentum, because you're still reading your opponent, figuring out any strengths, any weaknesses that you can potentially exploit going forward. So still back and forth.
All right, Enzim stopped playing Handles on his pillar. So now he's forced to go wide just to counter him. He got a free shot off the start, but Acels is playing back here towards his mid pillar. And this was kind of the gameplay that I was talking about beforehand. And so these guys here towards the middle, they're a little bit further back on the sandbags, and you have these players on the pillars by themselves. So coming into that round, Handles able to get those kills. It worked out for them really well there. That focus that they had on Enzim. Now let's see, Enzim and Avexis. Can you guys get this one all tied up once again? A lot of damage taken by Handles to start this round, Frank, and he is able to deliver it back. So Avexis with the wrap shot there. Acels too far back. And that's why you crawl, folks, okay? Because Handles had to climb up to get that kill because he didn't clean up Enzim in time. As he was crawling behind that pillar, allowed Avexis to get a great shot, which was an even better read.
Yeah, so it all just comes down positioning there. Like, did you rotate there in time? Where did you die at? And in that case, it falls in favor of Avexis and Enzim. Now Handles going back to those sandbags. Acel's going to try to step up and help out. Got double downs coming through, but Handle's going to come through as well. He's going to be able to take that round.
Yeah, taking that round with ease, too, as well. So good job to him for picking that one up. 6-5 lead here for Handles and Acels. So far, so good. And I don't know which one of these players in this lobby is about to go off and just going on like a 4-man killing spree and get the momentum these next 2 rounds. Beautiful shots from both these players, but it was Handles who did more damage there. Only a matter of time for Avexis. Handles knows he has to finish the fight now. Avexis is weak.
Ooh, big shot out of Avexis.
Composure there between these two. Avexis disengages rather than going for him, and it worked out. Nice defensive plays there from Avexis. Just trying to play his life, but I don't blame. I think Handles made the right play as well, because Avexis had a lot of damage on him. Acels just lost his fight. Handles hit Avexis with a shot, and he was just trying to put himself in a position to close that gap.
Yeah, and he kind of knew if he retreated to those sandbags with the damage he did, he knew that shot was inevitable, right? If he was going to push him, they were both getting their health back, or we have the sudden death early there, or he was going to get that kill. And now we have the 1v1. Acels coming in on Enzim. Ooh, and Enzim with the little side step.
You saw that? Yeah, he juked him out. That was beautiful timing there from him.
And that's what I love about this level, right? It's those little things. You can fake someone out with that sidestep.
When it comes down to like these players' play style, you know, Enzim and Avexis, man, they kind of came up in gears with this offensive aggressive movement, right? They're gonna get in your face, dodge shots, make you miss, and hit their shots. And they're quick at doing it the way that they use the cover and the terrain of any map that they're playing on. And so they want to always go forward. But a player like a Sales, his first thought process sometimes is to take a step back, do damage, hit the L trigger. So it's more of a defensive play style. And so I love seeing those go back to back. Now on the flip end, Handles versus Enzum, those play styles are pretty similar if you ask me. And I think Handles can keep up with Enzum too when it comes down to the sticks. It just comes down to the smarts in these engagements. And when it comes down to that battle, Enzum. He says the only brain I need is the right trigger and the L trigger on your chest. Okay, that's just as simple as that. LT, RT, get a kill.
Yeah, he said, oh, that's not a defensive play style. I call that a sitting duck, right? Like, he's like,
right?
You're going to stand
still
for me?
You're not moving forward? Okay.
Interesting. We'll see how that works out for you. As Enzum closes up that one. And here's the Cells trying to focus on a couple of targets here. And nicely done. That opens it up. He had Handles on that mid box, able to kind of do a little bit of pinch, a little bit of crossfire there to take that round, keep it close. But, you know, just when Avexys and Enzum had that 3-round momentum, a great job from Handles and Cells adjusting and keeping that gap close.
Yeah, no, that was a great job for them as well. That round was all Handles, man. He put out most of that damage. The Cells was missing some shots there towards the end. We'll see if he recovers, but he's forced away from Avexys. And Enzum once again just kind of tearing. Oh, that was a double down. But in the end, it was the perfect positioning there. With those players being in the trenches, Avexys and Enzum was able to clean up those kills without any issues whatsoever. And we were thinking that they may be the weakest team here, but they're looking to strike first on map number 1, and then we're going to mid next.
I know. It's like they need to watch, you know, Star Wars Episode 3 and to find out how important that high ground is, because that was the difference in that previous round. But Handles and Cells going to answer back. Even though they're on map point, they're going to work their way back into this one. We'll see if we have map number 1, round 19 on our hands, or will Avexys and Enzum want to move on to map number 2?
Man, that last round was a 7-second banger. We'll see if it gets matched here. Avexys putting some focus on his teammates. Guy was watching the back A, and that was beautifully timed there. He kind of baited the Cells in there towards that back A. And with that play, that's going to be a map number 1 victory here for Vexum.
And that's great. If you're Avexys and Enzum, you 100% want to take that first map, because I think we even mentioned that all the way back in, you know, season 1, that Avexys and Enzum, always their strongest map has been mid. I think they proved that in that second semifinal here today against TJ and Demise. And then going forward, Handles and Cells have to find some answers, because it just felt like a little bit slaying power and positioning were the two biggest things. Tiny things, right? You know, dying on the high ground where your teammate has to get that clamber animation to come up and revive you is the difference between a win and a loss. And that happened more times than not against the Avexys and Enzum, and they're just going to not let you kind of get away with those tiny mistakes.
Yeah, man. In Astro battles, any little mistake that you make is going to get amplified here with these duos, because they're looking for those small opportunities, because it's not many, okay? The smallest maps made in Gears of War, the simplest game mode, there is no pistols, no lancers, where there are pistols that spawn up on the secondaries, but you're only spawning with shotties. That's what's most important here. So it's your shotgun gameplay, your movement, and it comes down to hitting shots. So at the end of the day, that simplicity at this level, you know, these duos know how to work with it, man. And Avexys and Enzum, they are really good at that. So not even just them, you know, Handles of the Cells as well. So any small mistake that you make, you better be careful, and you better be ready to rebuttal right after.
Yeah, and that's a great point too, is that mistake will usually cost you the round. So what it then comes down to is how quickly can you shake it off and correct going forward, because you can't let too many mistakes add up. Mistakes essentially
and you can't let players heal.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you know, your teammate dies and that player heals up that he was fighting, that's just damage out the window. It's like your like you threw money out the door. Okay?
Eating donuts after working
you gotta
out.
go capitalize off of that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you know, when they were saying go buy Dogecoin, you didn't get in. You got in late. You lost. Okay, you
missed
lost.
the train. Missed the train.
You missed the train,
man. Movie theaters back open. You missed out again.
You missed the train. You should have had the foresight for it beforehand. All right.
Right.
Oh
right.
man.
But yeah, so it's now on Handles and Nacelles. They have to win what, in my opinion, feels like an unfavored matchup against Avexys and Enzym on mid, or else Avexys and Enzym ascend. They're in the 7-win club now, and it's even more work for Handles and Nacelles to catch up and kind of leave their mark on Astro battles. TJ and Demise get to hover in the middle and either, you know, get caught up to or catch up, which is, you know, what I'm looking forward to already in next week's Astro battles. But we are loading into map number 2 here on mid. Avexys and Enzym going up against Handles and Nacelles. I'm gonna have to see. Handles and Nacelles, I think it's gonna be telling in these first couple of rounds if this one's gonna be close or if they're kind of shot, if the constitution of that duo is just in the dirt. So it's the first couple of rounds for me.
I will say this though, Frank.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say Demise has a similar playstyle to Avexys there on that back pillar. Sorry, not Demise, but Handles has a similar playstyle to Avexys on the back pillar here. And so I don't know if Avexys and Enzym can win with kind of the same strategy that they had beforehand, but we'll find out here soon because I think Handles is gonna push them more times than not.
Right. It's going to come down to how they read that, or if they can test that mid-box, kind of take the mid-box player out. And we saw a similar thing. Avexys, though, going to hit those shots, take down Handles. Nacelle is going to fall in turn. But, yeah, I think that's a great thing for anyone tuned in right now to watch is that Avexys kind of pillar matchup going up against Handles and Nacelles. It's not going to play out the same way against TJ and Demise because both of them have that aggressive play style. They want to hit those shots and take pressure off their teammate. So we're going to have to see. First round, though, does go to Avexys and Enzym. Avexys going to offer some support on that mid-box. A little bit of a scuffle there, but Avexys going to come through and make it happen. They kind of bump shoulders. Essentially, they just high-fived and said, we got this. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, with them both being out in the open, they managed to kind of like regain and find the perfect play there in the end. Like, after the first chunk that came through, that side roll from Avexys was just like, hey, it's on you, Enzym. Okay, I don't even know if he expected to win there in that moment.
Right. Yeah, by all counts, that should have been in favor of Handles and Nacelles, but Avexys and Enzym make it work. Here comes Avexys trying to do some work on Handles. Gets the down there, but he's got the 1v1. And we got full health. That's why damage is currency. You see it right there, 36%, and your opponent is not going to let you get any of that health back.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot. You have to at least be pre-firing that cover. You know, using your movements to try to kind of fake him out and just bait that guy out and keep connecting with pellets, stop the health regen from coming through, and keep control of the fight for your squad. Now, Handles, he took a shot off the start, but he goes wide. Avexys, that was a bad side roll, but it was something that Handles wasn't even expecting there. And in the end, Avexys manages to recover, and they will take this round.
Yeah, and man, so many teams try to go wide on that pillar against Avexys and Enzym, and it doesn't work. Avexys essentially is looking at that like a free kill if you're trying to go wide on that, because he wants to push you, wants to take you out of the game to open up his teammates. So if you go wide, you're just handing it to him.
Watch this first shot. Pop. Depending on how hard that shot hits, decides Avexys' move. Okay, so he's not going to go wide. He's going to relax. But now he's paying attention to which side his opponent's looking. He says, okay, you went wide. Does he take it? Does he cut in? He wants to cut in. He says, oh, you want your fight, Enzym? Don't worry about it. I'm just going to back up here. We're just going to put some damage on Handles.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it plays out. I mean, and that's what they're thinking. Avexys and Enzym, that's exactly it. That's the play-by-play, you know, boiled down to its purest form. It's that first shot, and Avexys plays off it. We saw it there. He said, oh, you went wide?
Let's see it again, but let's see it from Handles' perspective, okay? Let's see how hard he gets hit coming down his ramp.
We're going to, okay, yeah. Now we'll catch it from the opposite perspective. So what does it feel like to be Handles? Yeah. What's it feel like to be in Handles' shoes catching a brick?
All right, as he coming down his pillar, he's going to get caught with the L trigger.
Ow.
Boom.
I felt it.
He was ready for it that round, though. He knew he was moving in. He got hit with such a shot. That's why Avexys and Enzym got aggressive on him as hard as they did. So Avexys called the play but Handles knows that he can't run away. He just got to hit the shot, hold his ground, and hit his opponent harder, and that's what he did.
I'm gonna repeat the mantra real quick. Sometimes you have to eat a shot to hit a shot, and Handles did it that round. Ooh, but okay, they make him pay for it. They said you ate one too many. You're a little too full. So another round on the board for Avexys and Enzym. But
you know what? And I think that round is won by Enzym's composure. Just him being in cover a little bit extra longer. You know, you had Handles out there sitting in no man's land, waiting for the down to come through, and just Avexys is behind him approaching, and Enzym's just sitting there saying, all right, I'm just gonna stay alive, use my movement. So he did that well. Avexys is the one that's the focus, but the cells, he has to worry about Enzym, because as soon as Avexys calls out that he's weak, Enzym gets aggressive there.
what I like, and shout outs to, you know, Handles and his cells on that round, but the way Avexys uses cover, it's so smart, and it's so beautiful the way it's unfolding, because he's like, okay, I'm gonna apply so much pressure that you're gonna want to 1v1 me, and then I'm gonna use this cover to create a 2v1 for my teammate in Enzym. So he's like, okay, you go wide, and look, whoop. Now, all right, we got a 2v1 because you got to chase me now.
See how he backs up into the cover to dodge the shot, though?
Yeah,
He's playing with his back to the wall. He backsteps. That cover gets the shot, but it also puts him in an angle to put a shot there on that mid box as well, as his opponent is wide. So Avexys, man, he has his movement on his pillar down to a science, and this is where I talk about the reps, folks. You know, just the reps on 2v2 Astro Battles. Yeah, you can sign up next week with your duo. You're gonna go only so far, okay? Only so far, because when you run up against these giants here, man, they got everything memorized. It's just muscle memory at this point.
And something too is Acellus turns up, and there's Handles going to be getting a round back, the hand cells duo. But what I love about Avexys' gameplay, and this is a great term for anyone tuned in to kind of add to your repertoire and into your gameplay, is conditioning. Avexys is conditioning his opponents to play a certain way so that he can then take advantage of it in the further rounds.
You are so right with that. And that comes from just years of execution gameplay and playing Gears of War. It's just round-based modes, right? Rather, if you start in the execution or escalation, the conditioning of your opponent from round one all the way to the final round is something that's extremely important. And it all starts with your base strategy, and you gathering intel, and you throwing different looks, and you playing a certain way. All for that last round, you have all that intel and say, all right, we got the perfect strat. Let's switch it up. We know exactly what they're going to do. So, yeah, man, that conditioning is huge, and Avexys is one of the best at doing it, especially in these individual 1v1 battles that he loves playing. Nice revive.
Ooh,
oh,
Avexys.
Avexys comes clutch. They're at that 8 now, Frank.
Yep. It's make or break time for Handles and Acellus. We'll see what they're made of at this point. We'll see if all that effort, all that teamwork, all that experience is going to come into effect, or are they still just not in that 7-win club because of Avexys and Enzym looking to end this one. Avexys knows to play patient, has the damage, puts things in the hand of Enzym for the time being, and knows exactly when to strike. Now the revive comes through, and Avexys gonna clean it up.
Nice try from Acellus. Came down to a strafe battle there in the end, but that's 3 rounds in a row for Avexys and Enzym, and they're feeling damn good right now. Really comfortable. Avexys, it's just 14 kills, 10 downs. I think Enzym just has 4 kills to his name. The rest are assists.
Here we see it. A little bit of a different look, and oh, he's running way off spawn. Enzym gonna clean down Handles, Acellus fighting.
Oh, this is crazy. Oh! The play was made. Avexys says, I'm not running from you. He saw his teammate down in the corner. He knew what his opponent had to do. And he says, you know what? No 6 wins for you, okay? Yeah. Stay down there with 5. Congratulations to Avexys and Enzym, your most winningest players in Astro 2v2 battles.
Yeah, and I like that Avexys picked up the weights while we were talking about conditioning. I mean, you can't ask for a more fitting comparison than that, and that's something I love. Avexys and Enzym, for whatever reason, they seem to not enter all the time, but whenever they do, it's like it's their show. Like they are setting the stage.
Yeah, it's a show, and you're forced to play. You are a character in their play, and to be able to change the pace of these fights, change the direction of the play, is something that's very hard. Okay, you just have to be a despicable antagonist there in the play for you to come through and just ruin their mood. But at the end of the day, man, they are always entertaining us, and it was great to watch them play tonight. And they took down your champions of last. And so, with that being said, now we, kind of going into the next few weeks, we have our storylines there. Vexies and Enzo with 7 wins there. TJ and Demise with 6, Handles and Sales with 5s, but also Vexies and Enzo, they don't have a major win. So maybe you got to put that on a list to come through and get it for the summer major.
Yeah, the summer major, because congratulations to them. Of course, they're walking away with $1,000 here tonight. But looking ahead, I mean, it is a Gears summer out here in the Astro battles, and $10,000 in August. You could never win, you could never win one of these weekly qualifiers and just show up to win the major, and that would, put you at the top of the earnings. But we're Gears players, right? Pride matters just as much. So Avexi's and Enzim now in the 7-win club, the only member, the most exclusive. So congratulations to them. And now it's going to be on these other teams, these bubble rosters, the Handles and Acels, the Rushies and Icy, the TJs and the Demises, and maybe some fresh faces, some newcomers. I mean, we saw Relics and Sloan tonight put up a decent fight against Handles and Acels in that first map. And then I think, that experience and teamwork kind of came through for them. But it's a shakeup here in this season of Astro Battles. And I mean, before we close out tonight, Avexi's and Enzim, congratulations to them. They show up and they remind you who the real hero is, who the real story is about. But before we close it here tonight, Blaze, any final thoughts?
Avexi's and Enzim is still the only ones to sweep an entire regular season. So nobody has that one on their tally just yet. But that was then. This is now. All right, well, let's see what they can do. Congratulations to them, because they are, like I said, the most winningest duo in Astro Battles. And outside of that, man, that's it for me. I appreciate you guys for coming through and hanging out with me and Frank once again to end your Friday evening. And hey, I hope you guys frag out this weekend. Go rank up on the leaderboards. And like we talked about earlier in the show, learn from your mistakes, critique yourself, and just be a better gamer. If not, hit me up for lessons. I'll charge you.
Yeah, we can open up some slots this weekend. I'm not too busy. We can take you to Sunday service if you need to get schooled. But that's going to do it for me and Blaze. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.